Well, hail, hail, the gang's all here. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Brendon.
Hello, Michael.
Mike, Pat, what's going on, gentlemen?
Well, some say there's a first for everything, and that includes tonight's show. Tonight, we're going to sling some drinks, talk some smack when it comes to Bigfoot, and then open the studio lines and take your calls. This is From Behind Tall Trees. Deep in the forests of North America, a creature is said to exist. A creature that people are encountering. With far too many reports to ignore, there are elements of truth behind these accounts that mankind can no longer ignore.
Breaking news out of Texas, Bigfoot is real.
Could a breeding population of large, upright, hairy hominids really exist in North America? Or is there something more paranormal at work here, deep in the woods? If just one footprint, one wood knock, or one howl is real, then man's understanding of primate evolution would be changed forever. Join the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective as they delve further into the mysteries of Bigfoot and other paranormal phenomena through the eyes of witnesses, investigators, critics, and skeptics. Join us as we look to discover what lurks from behind tall trees. Yay.
Yeah.
I get chills every time I hear that intro.
Here we go.
Here's my question, though, Brendon.
Yeah.
Kind of putting you in the spotlight.
All right.
You have that little compilation of all like the Bigfoot videos and pictures. How many of those have actually been like debunked or confirmed to be hoaxes?
In the intro?
Yeah.
I think probably almost all of them. I think probably.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, I was very careful not to put the PG film in there, and not the
Right. Yeah.
what's the other guy? What's the other guy? The fucking
Freeman.
Freeman footage. I didn't want to put credible footage in there. I wanted to put some weird creepypasta stuff in there. So I would say probably all of it, you know, because I didn't want to tread on the real stuff. I wanted to get into, you know, just the stuff. Everybody's here, dude. Tall ones, everybody's chiming in, dude. Yay.
Nice.
There we go.
We got him. Oh, good.
You got a drinking night tonight, right, Mike?
Yep. I ain't driving.
Yeah, so anyway, this is a first for us. First of all, I would like to welcome Pat Turner, the real Pat Turner, hashtag Pat Turner, to our drinking club. You know, we had the powers that be. We didn't have it. We had one of our guests unfortunately backed out, and we said, you know what? Let's talk shit. Let's talk Bigfoot. Let's have some drinks, and let's let some people talk to us in real time.
Well, you know, when you first approached me for the show, and you kind of gave me the lowdown of what it was going to be, I of course, I mean, I had to immediately turn you down. I'm like, nope, that's not how I roll, dude. I'm very professional. I take this very seriously. Fun is not allowed. And $250 later, here I am.
There he is.
So yeah, I'm glad. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be part of the group. It's great to finally meet Mikey up here. And yeah, let's do this.
Right. So, Mike, you and Charlie, you and Pat haven't officially met, correct?
That's correct.
We've chatted a couple of times on Facebook. We've had a couple of brief back and forths on Facebook, but not formally. So, yeah, it's good to finally formally meet you.
That's
I just drank with Pat.
I listen to your show all the time.
My friend request.
Yeah, and yeah, we me and Charlie over here. We
he's even got the pointing right. It's like the Brady Bunch, right?
Right.
We're like the fucking
me and Charlie over here.
Like the fucking
we hung out. We hung out at the Holiday Inn, the bar at the Holiday Inn, and we kicked back a few drinks, ate some hot wings, and had a good old time, man. About a year ago.
Good old time, brother.
Are you coming to the ECBRO event, Pat?
I cannot. I just took a new job, dude. So I can't take any kind of time like that off. So I'm gonna miss that. So sorry to miss you guys, man, but we'll catch up in the fall somewhere, I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Are you going to the Tennessee one? Are you going to the Smoky Mountain one or no? In July?
No, I won't be attending any Bigfoot conferences throughout the summer. Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh.
So,
He just
yep.
said he took a new job, Charlie. You can't come to the fucking Bigfoot thing. So now you're saying, "Oh, you come to the Bigfoot thing?"
Yeah,
Well,
it won't be
2
until
months away.
fall that I can like properly take time off.
Gotcha.
Things are kind of hectic right now, but hey, we'll have our own little Bigfoot conference here tonight, complete with an audience. It's going to be great. We're going to do a little mini
dot a
online
lot of
conference.
I's and cross a lot of T's tonight, right, Mike?
Absolutely.
Let's fucking do it.
What do you got, Mike? What's first on the chart of things to talk about why men drink talking Bigfoot?
What I want to know about you guys, what do you think's like the hottest button issue right now that's dominating the Facebook groups, the podcasts? Is there one particular thing that's like standing out to you guys? And if so, what is it? And what are your thoughts on it? How's my hair look tonight, by the way?
Dude, it's fucking spectacular. So that was,
I
first of
know.
all, that's the most important thing in the Bigfoot community right now is Mike Luci's hair.
Okay.
So now that we knocked that one off, the second one is Pat Turner's hair. And so I would say to rephrase the question for Mike, Pat, what do you think the porcupine or the Felibuncher video, what do you think what is right now? What is the topic that lives and breathes on the internet right now that you think, because you go through a lot of stuff. You do a lot more shows than we do a week. What's the hot button issue right now?
Let me look at Facebook real quick because that's how quick it changes. Like, so when you say right now, you're literally talking about, I don't know, today or maybe 2 or 3 days. Right now, there's nothing hot. I'll say that. The only thing that's caught my eye recently is Thinker Thunker's Provo Canyon video that he's trying to prop that up. Whereas your 3-minute video, in 3 minutes, you tore it down.
I saw he came out with one today that was posted about
part 4,
the giant arm, right? The giant swinging arm. And I was banned from Reddit, right? For posting that. And I went to Reddit today to post the show. And who the fuck was there? But fucking Jed White or Jed, whatever the fuck his name, Jed Turner, with that wide angle fucking thing. So he has the ability to keep things. He might be the mod on the Reddit. I don't know. But my 3-minute video of the Provo Canyon got taken down for spam, whereas he has that one up there. And he put it up, 3 days after I did mine.
Got taken down on Reddit?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I went to post it on Reddit and I got an admin that says, no, you can't spam, which I get that, but I don't spam. And then I look up today and there he has the same thumbnail. I think he actually used half of my thumbnail for that wide angle, the big longest arm ever.
Right. Yeah. So, that's the only thing that's caught my eye. And to me, that was personal because of your 3-minute video. And then Thinker Thunker comes out with this part 4. Like, you got to do 4 parts to 30-second clip, of a guy in a parking lot and a Bigfoot that doesn't know how to conceal itself and
pitching a sidearm, dude. He's Dan. I had one of the guys.
This big.
One of the viewers said Dan Quisenberry, dude. I don't know if you remember Dan Quisenberry, but he was a sidearm pitcher back in the 70s. And that's exactly what he looked like. So there's people out there that get it. But also there's another thing with Thinker Thunker that came out that we were talking about before the show is the whole Les Stroud thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Todd Standing.
That's rather disappointing.
What was that, Mike? Go ahead.
That was rather no, I was saying that was rather disappointing that, just because the way Les Stroud approached the whole topic, he seemed like such a grounded, objective, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Like it seemed like he held things to such a high standard, and just given, standings or Stan's reputation, the amount of times it's just blatantly obvious that he's been supposedly BSing people. It's I don't know. I just feel like there's something. I just feel like there's something more to him. I just feel like there's something more to him endorsing his.
You're let down. It sounds like you're let down.
Yeah,
right?
to less.
You're disappointed, like I am.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I remember, I think, well, let's take
100%.
5 years, and everybody's like, you're watching Finding Bigfoot, and you go, you know what, the guy that should be out there doing this is fucking Les Stroud.
No kidding.
Everybody said that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does six seasons, 6 episodes of Les Stroud Bigfoot. But then I don't know if you guys watched the last one, the last episode of the Les Stroud Bigfoot, Survivor Man Bigfoot, was where he picked up the guy at the airport in Portland, took him to some woods, didn't turn the cameras on because Bigfoot was going to be upset about it, and then dropped the guy off at the airport, and like that was the episode. It was like that's when I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, dude?
Yeah, I don't remember that one. Maybe I never saw it. I don't know. But that was Les. So before Les Stroud ever made any of those Bigfoot episodes, I think a year or two before that, I remember telling my buddy Ernie, who's into Bigfoot, like we do campfire Bigfoot talks, and he used to be my co-host. I remember telling him, I was like, you know who would be perfect for Bigfoot research? The most perfect guy in the world, Les Stroud.
Yep.
Because he has that story. At the time, it was only a blog, something that he had written online, what happened to him in Alaska. So this was way before like anybody else knew. And somehow Ernie saw that, found out about it, told me, and I was like, dude, Les would be the perfect guy. And nope.
There was a thing he actually on his blog he put out. He goes, if I could get money like $100,000, because he at the time he was putting up his own money, which I respect Les. I don't know him personally, so I'm not going to talk too much shit about him. But I'm going to say that he did say if I could get $100,000 of broadcast money right from a network, I could solve this Bigfoot thing. And I believe first of all, he's well versed in getting into the woods more than I could ever be, right? So I'm not slinging that hash. I'm just saying maybe it's his management company that has come up with things like this. So we're going to play this, Mike, and I think this is what you're talking about with the whole Todd Standing thing.
Every time I look at something online that claims to be able to debunk Todd Standing's footage, I can see the debunking in their debunking. I can see where they're saying something that's not right. What you just said is wrong, and now you're basing everything that you're criticizing this footage on what you just said. And even though what you're saying might make sense, what you're basing it on doesn't make any sense. So I've seen, I'm not going to get into detail, but I've seen that in looking at stuff online.
And that's the thing right there. Like to make a statement like that, you have to get into detail. Like what are the specific examples? Give me a specific, give me specific examples of what footage, how it was debunked, and why you specifically think that attempt at debunking is debunkable. I mean, in my opinion, the only Todd Standing footage that I've seen that I think is the closest thing he could have to possibly maybe being legit was the one where like he was here and there's like a slope here. You see something kind of like scurry up the slope. Did you guys ever see that one before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was featured. He and that footage was featured on Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yep. And they all thought it was crap. They all, even Matt Moneymaker said that's not real.
They were kind of apprehensive going into it too. When they were meeting him, they were even like, they even said that on TV.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward. Yeah.
Well, I remember.
He didn't even take them back to. He didn't even take them back to the actual location where it was.
Yes.
His Sylvanek thing or whatever it's called.
Sylvanek, yeah.
Sylvanek,
well, they wouldn't put up the $3,800, dude. He gets $3,800 a trip, dude.
Well, now he does, yeah.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be on TV, obviously. I mean, Todd's a media guy, man. He'll take the best, biggest media he can get. So
I applaud him for his effort. He gets in. He's like a hummingbird in a fish tank, dude. He gets up there. He's so much energy. He gets up there. But anytime you have to propagate the myth or keep, I did that on a 3-minute video. He's like, oh my god, this is the best apple. This must be a Bigfoot apple. And then you turn it. Oh, it was like, anytime you have to maintain credibility to have customers come in, right? A windfall of people come in. Much like the BFRO, not to go too far down that, but anytime you have to have, if you're selling a product, right? P.T. Barnum, you're selling a product. If people don't get a response, if there's no Bigfoot at the end of that trail, then people aren't going to come back.
It's funny, but when you did that 3-minute video and you put his face on where the Bigfoot face. And I saw someone else did that with the
Thinker Thunker. I got it directly from Thinker Thunker. Yeah,
that every time you see something from now, that's the first thing I'm going to see is his face. Doesn't matter. Obviously if the thing's walking away, no, but if he's got a clear shot of a Bigfoot, I'm gonna be like, okay, where's the mouth? Where's the eye?
Yeah, and there should be footage leading up to that. There should, or wherever it starts, right? I mean, look, the great thing about the PG film is the first 20 seconds of it is like shaking, pointed to the ground, shaking, and then a shot, and then more pointed toward the ground, shaking. I mean, like, I want the whole picture, and yeah, you're right, especially the end. Like, I'm gonna sit there and film that damn thing until it gets out of my frame, right? And until it gets out of
the battery dies,
or whatever. I mean, I'm gonna, like, if I can get half an hour of filming a Bigfoot,
Patty's ass.
Yeah,
but the battery will mysteriously go dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but then my phone went dead. Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, Mike, what do you think of that? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that looks, it almost looks too good to be true, and then it's spliced up, right? You put a lot of stuff on our Facebook group to present as evidence from other people and say, what the fuck is wrong with this stuff, right? So there's got to be telltale signs in your mind that say these things are wrong, right?
Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brendon. You were like honking in and out.
So I was saying there's telltale signs. Yep.
We're good.
Where are you at, Mike? Anyway, are you in Albany, Mike?
I'm sorry.
I'm in Albany right now.
Oh wow.
Go ahead, Pat. What were you saying?
I'll say this, Brendon. Visual evidence for Bigfoot at this point, optic filmed evidence has to be measured in minutes, not seconds.
Yeah, but Mike has also presented the fact that sometimes things are taken out of context or out of perspective, right, Mike? You put a lot of stuff up there that things look way too bigger than they are, and they're just misunderstood or misappropriated visual stances, right? Mike?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I posted that one thing in our group. It was of a can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay. That one picture was of the tree line, and you just see like this little black figure. In the trees. I asked, like, let's be real. How many groups out there? How many people you post this? The first thing people are going to say is, oh my god, it's a squatch or a dog man or a winged humanoid or I don't know, whatever else the fuck people believe in.
And that's the problem.
That's the thing. Like, it boils down to, I think, like, a really contagious mentality with like a lot of these groups. I mean, number one, like, I really think a lot of people, like, it's more of like a thing people do for fun, so I think in that regard they kind of let their guard down. No, I mean, not really let their guard down, but like, like, kind of lower their standards about that in that regard. But I think it's more like, I think like people's perceptions, the way they dictate these things, is more like based on what they want it to be than what they actually think.
They're driving the narrative by
Yeah,
their
they-
their titles and their frames, and it's like giant Bigfoot video, blah blah blah. But their bias and beliefs are driving the narrative. You're exactly right, Mike.
Yeah. You know, like how many videos out there that I post, that I post in the CRC group, like the titles are giant, like giant Bigfoot caught on camera, or, Sasquatch, like Sasquatch video. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like, like a lot of these videos, they really should be left for the viewer to decide. But, when you post, like when you establish that type of context with them, it's almost like, like you're telling them what to think.
You're contaminating the jury, right?
It is absolutely narrative driven, 100% across the board.
Well, people do that when witnesses do that too. When you go to visit their properties, we had that happen to us twice, Mike.
Yeah.
They're like, this is going to happen.
So Charlie, let's talk about that, because a lot of people don't know that. I mean, we are not only an online group with the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective, but we have a lot of research that we do in the field. So Charlie, bring that up. You don't have to mention any names, but bring up what happened out there. That's a perfect example of what to look for with red flags.
Well, the first one Mike and I went to, and I actually vetted the person a couple times before he even brought Mike there. And it was, when Mike there, it was almost like, she set, they're setting you up, like getting you excited, getting you nervous, getting you, just so your mind's kind of taking off on you before you even take one step into the wood line. You know what I mean? And you're like, and then the other person was not as bad, but still, he definitely leading you. You know what I mean? And it just, so it happens, and it's much easier to do it when you're online, being a keyboard warrior, than when you're actually standing next to people. But it just happens because people want their 15 minutes or 15 seconds or
there
whatever.
you go. P.T. Barnum, right? Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. And Mike, you were with Charlie at these events, right? Or these, I remember you guys went there, and we're not going to say where, but did you get there? Because you're a very schooled investigator with us. Can you hear me? He's
Mike.
not moving. I thought he was
froze.
we get a Bernie's, dude.
Yeah, he froze.
Yeah.
Well,
so
the reason why we brought Mike on is because he was so talented.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he can read into the weekend of Mikey's. I'm like, hello. But anyway, that's Pat. You deal with the same shit, right? With you, it's too good to be true, right?
Oh yeah. So like everything that's posted online is BS. I mean, it in one way or another, either intentionally or sometimes not intentional. So it's not always intentional, right? Sometimes people will think that they captured something, and to them, like it's a sacred capture.
The end all be all. If they live on the property. So Mike, before you jumped out, the question was,
yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fucking go renew your fucking Hampton Inn fucking wireless password.
Seriously.
But anyway, so one of the reasons we brought you in with us at the ARC is because you've been in the field. You're much younger than us, and you can spot red flags, red herrings. Right? It's too good to be true.
Absolutely.
So Charlie was saying the same thing, and at the property that you were at, which was the same one, what were you feeling without throwing anybody under the rug as far as members of the collective?
I think in the sense that when this, so like, let's assume like, people are actually like seeing something. I think there's like a couple of classes of witnesses, of people you deal with,
Right.
There's some people who, for whatever reason, whether, they're just like malicious, whether they're just doing, for malicious reasons or, for attention or whatever. There are people out there who deliberately and consciously, try to hoax you.
Fair enough. Yep.
You're quintessential BSers. But then I think there's another category. There's another category of people who genuinely believe whether or not it's something legit, or whether it's something legit or whether or not it's something debunkable or not. Regardless, there's like, another category of people who genuinely believe that, this is what they saw. So most of the time, it's, more so dictated by what we were saying before, like they think this because it's what, it's more so what they want it to be rather than,
Right.
what
Exactly.
they could actually think. And then, you have other people, who, they don't know. They just, like, they don't know. They just want to figure it out. They don't care if it's, something paranormal or something natural. They just want to figure it out, whether it's to, get closure or just, to see how they should adapt accordingly. So those are kind of like the three major categories that I like to put people in. And, with that said, let's be real. I think we're all, like I do it, like I do it, I'm probably guilty of this as well. I think we're all a little biased towards, any of our own possible evidence whenever.
Yeah, but you're not as much as you used to be, Mike. You used to be that's fucking Bigfoot. Oh, that's fucking Bigfoot. Not that you were, but now you are much more you're much more level-headed, and I think you've come into your own, not by anybody's teaching. There's no shaman here, but you've come into your own. Like, maybe let's now we have more time to investigate the possibilities, right? Just because it's not Bigfoot doesn't make that person a liar. It just says it might not be Bigfoot all the time, right? It's not always right, Charlie, to play the Bigfoot card, right?
Right. But I think, just to add one more thing, I think where Mike and I do a lot of our investigation, being an hour and a half from New York City, one of the largest cities in the country, I think people are a little more zealous, or overzealous about wanting this to be true and want there to be Bigfoot. I'm sure if we were around Ohio and Western Pennsylvania, where there are natural hotspots, it's probably more likely. But I think just being in our area, people really want it to be true. You know what I mean? So they will.
Well, that's a good question. Does the branding of Bigfoot, right? We say the branding of Bigfoot, does that contaminate the pool? Right? Does that, when people read the New York Post and see Bigfoot sighted here, Bigfoot sighted there, does that contaminate the pool? Does that make people more likely to say, "Oh fuck, I saw Bigfoot and I got to live it on my fucking ranch"?
I think there people are still, at least here, they still don't think it's real. They don't believe it. You know what I mean? Someone could see it across the road and they'll be like, "Nah, it was a bear." You know what I mean? But you do have those certain people that are like, "No, it's there, and I want you to see it, and come over and check it out, and I bet you have a sighting." And
we have a bunch of questions on the chat. I can't tell what's going on here because it seems to be back and forth. But you back there, Pat?
Oh yeah, I'm back.
I think it's fair. Should we open up the call lines? We've never done this before.
Do it.
Right, so we're going to open up the call lines, and if you have a call the number that you're going to see on the bottom of the screen here, and we're going to patch you in. It's going to be real time, so keep the language to a minimum. But call the studio. It's 845-423-0323. Give us a call and talk to us live and let us know what's going on. This is the first time we've ever opened the lines, so somebody better fucking call.
Hold on.
It's in my ear. No, it's like the phone's not ringing, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So anyway, why
on that point, like the other thing too, this is just my opinion, whether it's some type of visual evidence, audio, or anecdotal, it's just my opinion that 95%, that's a generous number of all the stuff out there is not what we want it to be. Whether it's a hoax, misidentification.
What do you say want it to be? When you say want it to be, Mike, not to cut you off, but what do you want it to be? Are you saying that you want it to be Bigfoot, or are you hopeful to find? Because you've turned in some really strange shit in the last couple of weeks.
And that's the thing, though. Like, is it strange only because it's something strange that pops up in an investigation? In a research investigation where we're looking for Bigfoot, or is it strange because it actually has like those distinct unique qualities that really distinguish it from any other natural explanation?
I mean, what do you think, Pat? Pat, do you think it's like Mike said? Is it more important to get to the bottom of the solution as far as what happened there, or is it more important to maybe have Bigfoot?
What do you mean by have Bigfoot? Like,
Well, so Mike was saying that you get a lot of audio evidence, and you're optimistic that it's going to be Bigfoot, or is it more important to find out exactly what it really is versus oh shit, it might be something unknown. So discovery versus something left in the ether. Does that make sense, Mike?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So are you talking specifically about audio?
No,
Just in general.
I think
No, I mean,
let's use an example here.
It's more important to know the truth, no matter what.
Right.
In any given situation, what you're looking at or what you're hearing, whatever it is, it's more important to know the truth. And so when it comes to Bigfoot, it's always important to discover more, to learn more, move the ball down the field towards knowledge of this phenomena. What that is, what is this phenomena, And so so I say to that, the truth matters no matter what.
Paramount, right?
Yeah, it's the truth matters, and the truth is absolute.
Yeah, but Mike, I mean, let's take. Why don't you bring up the case examples for the last couple of weeks, Mike, that you brought that you've recorded and that are on the table for us to discuss. Last week, upstate New York.
Yeah, and like that's
a perfect example.
So so there were two. So like there were two batches. The first audio was from upstate New York. It's a little bit of a case study. A witness has a cabin up in the Catskills, and like it literally it literally borders a wilderness area. Backs right into it. So they claim that they've had some pretty bizarre stuff going on. So I've only been up there during the day, but I left a recorder out for a couple of hours, and I picked up some pretty bizarre, interesting sounds. With that said, though, there's a lot of variables to consider. Like number one, the location of the cabin. It's not like it's in the middle of like East Bumblefuck. The cabin's literally located right off the main road. There are houses. In the surrounding area. It's not like suburban America where they're like right on top of each other, but they're close enough where any type of substantial noise you'll be able to hear it. The other thing to consider is when I took these recordings, we're on like a mountain slope. So you have to take like the acoustics of that area to consider into consideration. I
mean, it was during. I want to jump in real quick. There was some really creepy shit there, but knowing the geographic, that knowing where he was, it disqualified a lot of the mysterious stuff, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like it's just audio. With that in mind, we're not going outright saying right now like what it is or isn't. We're just saying that these are the factors that you have to take into consideration when you make like a grounded, objective determination on it. Does that make sense?
Exactly. It makes 100% sense. Where are you guys at? The phone lines are open. Nobody wants to call in and talk to us? Studio lines are open. 845-423-0323. It's a toll-free call, folks. Good Lord. Anybody calls in gets a free a sticker pack from the CARC. Call us.
What is it?
Pat, you can't call in. You're part of the group.
Oh, shit. Hey, Squatch mate, you want to call in?
Yeah.
Plus, it'll be a drunk phone call, so.
Yeah, it's better. Drunken dial. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. I drunk dialed the show.
Where are those squatchers at? Where are those ladies at?
I could probably get a hold of Jim.
Okay, Pat, we're just kidding.
Okay.
So anyway, so it's important. Yeah. So the thing is, it's very important to vet the information, right? Everybody wants to be a superstar online, right? Yeah. And I'm not without fault. I would like to say that I would like every video that we put up there to have 9,000 views and everybody to like it, thumbs. But that's not what they're there for, right? You're there for you don't do. People don't follow you for what you do. It's why you do it. It's a very important thing. You know.
I'll say
So the
this.
other, so the other, so the other, so the other audio, just real quickly, we're dealing, we're working with another witness in Vermont, and that audio was left out overnight, about 12 or so hours long. But even that, it was on a private. I was on a private property. It's not like the recorder was a mile or so from the nearest road or house or anything like that. So you have to take that into consideration. I hear a lot of like knocking or clacking, clack-like sounds on the audio. The unconditioned, like the unconditioned researcher, they'll probably immediately be like, oh my god, those are wood knocks, or rock clacks. My thing is, I don't really know many things that make knocking sounds in the woods. I know, I know the difference between, a knocking sound and say like a tree limb falling or a tree or like a branch snapping or something like that. But I also know that, and it was you who pointed this out, Brendon, tape recorders, they'll make like these random, they'll make like those random sounds, whether it's like a popping sound or,
Digital
like a
audio
clicky,
is very, very odd.
sound. Yeah.
I mean, Pat,
What
I don't think we've
water
talked to Pat about that, but Pat, what's your opinion on wood knocks and all that fucking strange shit out there? Do you really think that Bigfoot carries a bat around in the woods, or what's the story with that with you? Now, and I don't mean to be sarcastic, but that's just the way it is right now. Huh.
It's interesting you say that. My potential Bigfoot experience was a wood knock encounter.
Hang on, we got a call. We got a call.
Oh, okay. So Hello.
Hey, you called the From Behind Tall Tree studio line.
Yep.
There he is. He's like, no, I didn't. I missed out. I was calling my girlfriend. So welcome. What's your name, bro?
My name is Toby Cox.
Toby Cox. I'm gonna turn it up, Pat. Can you hear everybody hear Toby?
Toby, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Toby?
Yeah.
Toby, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So what's the question you got for the guys, dude? First of all, thanks for being the first fucking caller to call the phone lines. And then I realized my phone was on mute. So I looked down and oh shit, somebody's calling. So what do you got for the guys, Toby?
What are your guys' what do you guys think about the relationship between coyotes and Bigfoot?
You guys get that question?
Yeah, relationship between.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, and stick around. Stick around.
So go ahead, Mike. Mike, I think it'd be a good question to put right up your alley.
Yeah, I think it's there's nothing really concrete about it. I think any evidence supporting it is strictly correlational. It's more mostly speculation. I know there's a lot of theories out there that people think that Bigfoot and coyotes, they work. They have a sort of like symbiotic, collaborative type relationship. A lot of people support that theory. They'll point to other they'll point to other instances of two different animal species that have some type of symbiotic relationship. To my knowledge, though, I don't think there's any. I don't think like two predatorial animals that are that high on the food chain have any type of symbiotic relationship that I know of, at least.
I disagree. Toby, you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, I disagree because Mike, we'll talk about the sugar run howl, and I disagree. I think that the coyotes play a pilot fish part in the game. That if the Bigfoots hunt and they gather and they kill, I think the coyotes pick up the game trails, pick up the end of the shit or the end trails. That's what we witnessed or heard audio wise in Allegheny National Forest a couple of years ago, where we had the Bigfoot howls, and then about 20 minutes later, in came the coyotes. So I think that the coyotes, personally, might play the part of picking up the end of the shit, right? They might follow the hunt. Pat, what's your thought?
Okay, so interesting. I mean, and it's a good question, and it's something to theorize about. Obviously, we don't have any hardcore studies being done right now with that kind of relationship. So I say it's one of imagination. Now, so us as human beings, we've domesticated.
Hang on a second.
wolves.
Toby, you're gonna let you take your question offline so we can open the lines for somebody else. All right. So thanks for calling, bud. Keep
All right,
going, Pat.
thank you. Have a good night.
So yeah.
Go ahead, Pat.
So we've domesticated wolves, but we've manipulated them into dogs, right? All kinds of dogs. So as far as like a relationship, like I like Brendon, like yeah, I could go with your theory, but people in the Bigfoot world, whenever they discuss that kind of relationship, they almost want to make coyotes Bigfoot's pets.
Well, I mean, Mike, why did you say no, Mike? It's a very important question. That why do you not think so? I mean, you gave an answer no, but why do you think that? That's more important, I think, than the answer you gave, Toby.
Yeah, two main reasons. Number one, I just think it's another instance of wishful thinking. People are always, people always like looking for any conceivable narrative, any conceivable reason, to say that, like this thing could exist, this thing could exist, and people get a little inventive sometimes. So I think it's, I think it's possible that
that's a very nice way to say fucking bullshit.
I think it's possible, that's how this whole theory, this whole concept could have derived. And number two, what I was saying before, yes, there are examples of interspecies, two different species of animals having symbiotic relationships in nature, but to my knowledge, and you're definitely going to have to fact check me, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't recall ever seeing any documented instances. Sorry, the booze is kicking in. I'm slurring my words. I don't think I've seen any documented instances of two different species of predatorial animals having a symbiotic, having any type of symbiotic
relationship. But also, okay. We have another call. Go ahead, talk. I'm going to try to get back.
Humans and wolves. Yes, that's your example right there.
Humans don't count though.
We're predatory animals.
I know, but like our intelligence is here, and
yeah. I mean, sure. Oh, fair enough. I'm not trying to get semantic with you. Yeah, if you want to exclude humans and wolves have a two predators that have a symbiotic relationship. Absolutely, I could bring one up right now, for example. Yeah. So people and dogs, basically, and it's a good one. Like it's useful. Also, people and cats. People in felines.
Are you saying you're a cat man, dude? Cat man, dude.
No, but cats will kill mice around your grain feed, right?
Fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, so that's symbiotic.
I watch some Tom and Jerry cartoons all the time, dude.
No,
my cat kills me. Leaves them for me to find. So yeah, they're gift givers.
But obviously chimpanzees don't utilize felines or canines, So
I think coyotes and supposed Bigfoot, the deer would be that they're in competition with each other. So it could be whoever gets there first, and then like Brendon said, the one is an opportunity eater, so they'll just clean up afterwards. But I don't think they work together. I think they're both out there looking to eat, and then whoever gets to it first.
Well, yeah. What's laying around in the forest is what's laying around in the forest. You know,
Well,
that's
I mean, I live across the street from a Victorian that has the turkey buzzards. I don't know, Mike, if you've seen these in New York, or Charlie, you've seen them, but they're giant, fucking like the old cartoon with the big Dobie turkey buzzard, and
Yeah.
they weigh about 30 pounds, and you can't. Yeah, exactly, and you can't shoot them because they clean up the road. But I tell you what, those things are a fucking menace, and they're around the fucking building all the time. So I'm not sure why I started that conversation, but I brought that into the fold.
Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you.
With the Bigfoot.
And I just
No
love
idea
saying,
what the fuck-
I just love saying that word too.
yeah.
It makes you sound, it makes you sound so
think
smart.
I don't think for a minute or ever that Bigfoot are petting coyotes. Like that's and that's the thing.
Heavy
So
petting, dude.
that's the
Heavy
thing.
petting zoo.
Yeah. So I don't think that coyotes are domesticated to Bigfoot at all. Like,
Well, I think
Yeah.
if, and again, this is an if because I haven't physically seen one, is if they exist in a flesh and blood situation, then they have the predator prey relationship with other animals that out there that live off them in a symbiotic relationship. I 100% agree with that.
yeah, it could be like that's like that kind of symbiotic. Absolutely could happen. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it has to, right? And that's the thing is I made on when we were talking about that rock throwing Bigfoot, right? Is the Bigfoot it for a great ape to learn to throw overhanded has to have learned to evolve to throw a spear and to start fires. You just don't learn to throw a baseball or a rock overhanded and stop, right? It doesn't work that way. Man has been forced to learn to throw overhanded and to learn to store muscle mass and strength in the back of their shoulder blade to throw spears to kill prey.
And that's a great point. Yeah.
And that's 100% true. So if Bigfoot throws a rock overhanded, they can't just stop there and go, okay, I learned to throw a fucking fastball. They have to fight. It doesn't just stop there, right? And that's the thing. That's the problem I have with people that say, well, Bigfoot threw a fucking perfect pitch at me. It's like, it doesn't happen that way. And nature doesn't stop and go, okay, you can throw a fucking rock 50 yards and put it on spot. And that's it.
That's a good. And I thought it was the most brilliant point you made in that 3-minute video.
And that's the thing. That's the way it is. I mean, Charlie, I don't know if you've seen it, but that's how I look at things. Like, a lot of people look for convenience, right? They look for excuses for convenience. Like Bigfoot threw a rock at me because he loved me and he wanted to be. It doesn't work that way. For nature to work that way and to learn to throw that thing, that's why monkeys throw uncoordinated, underhanded, because they throw it out of aggravation or they throw it out of threat.
Well, to be fair to the people that kind of claim that they've had rocks thrown at them, it always seems to fall short. It never hits them. It never hits them, right? So maybe Bigfoot do throw rocks, and maybe they do it. Maybe they do it in that gorilla chimpanzee,
or maybe they are owed money from fucking the paper boy, dude.
Yeah, like general direction. I'm gonna throw a rock in your general direction.
I fucking eat you, fucking bitch.
Yeah, because I've never heard one report ever of Bigfoot hit me in the head with the rock. It's always
Charlie's heard, right?
Them.
Charlie, not to stop you there, but Charlie, you've heard more than one, right?
Yeah, I've heard a couple of some guy got hit in the shoulder, and then there was. But you're right, Pat. There's a lot that landed really close to them, but some of them, like the size of the rocks, that's also what you have to take into consideration. How big was the rock? I mean, if it was a rock that a human can't really throw that far in general, and you got it coming through the trees, yeah, then that's something that's whether it's underhand or overhand. But there was I think the guy was in Ohio that he told me that he got hit in the shoulder.
And it's funny is I think and not to knock the wood out of your story here, Charlie, but I think everybody hears a story from somebody else, right?
Yeah.
It's always like I heard from a guy that met a guy that was there with a guy that knew a guy, And that's the thing. That's the problem, is getting to the root of the problem, of the situation. And I have no doubt, I do not know anything better. I'm not claiming to know everything at all. I don't know shit, to be honest with you. But every time you hear a story, it's from somebody that knew somebody, that heard somebody, that read the story somewhere.
Yeah. No, the guy that told me, it actually happened to him. So he told me, he was like, yeah,
He's back on his phone. Look at the hair, dude.
Wow.
He took a shower, dude. He's good to go.
Yeah, I'm literally on my phone right now. This is
All right. So Mike, you might have missed it. We were talking about rock throwing apes, right? And my problem with this is not to read it real quick, is when apes people learn to throw overhanded for hunting and gathering and for that things. So we didn't stop it there. We learned it at throwing spears and throwing rocks and developing the wheel and developing fire. So if Bigfoot can throw overhand, which I'm pretty sure he or she can't, why would it stop there? Why would it stop there? Why would the evolution stop there?
No, I agree. I don't think they're able to throw overhand.
Yeah.
Let's use Patty as in the Patterson Gimlin film as a framework, as a reference.
Right.
You look at how bulky the shoulders are. I think just like how big they are, the mechanics of of their arms, just the way like they supposedly evolved, it's going to prevent them from doing that swing that we're able to do.
And that's the thing, is in the 3-minute video I did, it shows that the shoulder plate, we've learned to store energy there, right? So it's like the apes throw underhanded because it's more convenient, and it's a path of least resistance. And we've learned to do that over millions of years, is to store energy there, to hold the object and then throw it. And that's my biggest grope with people that say, well, the Bigfoot threw it right at me and it knew it was there, so it just tossed it gently towards me. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm saying it's
kind of far-fetched.
Or maybe it's accurate because it just kind of lopped it and it got lucky, like pitching horseshoes, or fucking what's that other thing called?
Bocce ball?
Yeah, no. Fucking sandbagging thing.
Cornhole?
Yeah, cornhole. Maybe Bigfoot's cornhole in it.
This show took a turn.
We've had a great time, dude. It's like, if anybody's got any questions, bring them up. It's been quiet on the chat. I did have a bunch of phone calls, but they didn't call back. Again, the phone number is 845-423-0323. I know not everybody has the phone with the video, so I'll put it in the chat. So Mike, what's going on? You're up north. You doing a little bit of investigation?
Yeah, so I'm actually upstate New York right now. I'm going to the Adirondacks. I'm going to be at the Adirondacks this weekend. Nothing like Bigfoot related. Just probably my favorite getaway place to get away, New York State. Probably gonna hike some high peaks, make a couple of fires. I got some venison, from the deer I shot this fall.
You're still bringing that up, aren't you? So we got a question here. If Bigfoot can swim, they might be able to throw overhanded. That's a good question. That's an honest question. Pat, you're back in just in time. What do you think of that question?
I mean, what are we talking about? Like, the breaststroke?
So I would Jammer Mama Jamma. I think the question is, I was talking about Bigfoot throwing overhanded with control.
Yeah.
And I think somebody swimming could
but that's human form. Like this
learned.
Yeah, I mean, right. we there's zero evidence that Bigfoot can swim. Zero.
Just a big zero.
Yeah, no, I mean, other than anecdote, but I'm sorry, that's not evidence. Anecdote.
It's okay. It's fucking open lines, open bar. We can hurt everybody's feelings.
I think they Jammer.
I'm sure Jammer's a good guy.
Because when you get thrown in the water and you start doggy paddling or moving
That's
your
not
arms around,
overhanded. That's
float.
not overhanded.
No,
No.
it's pushing
Exactly.
down. So your shoulder.
So
have the
I
shoulder
mean, us
the abs
us
that
as
they have.
humans, especially over the past, I'd say, couple hundred years, have developed this like
Past
really
100 years?
no,
Past 1,000.
yeah,
Mike,
no,
Mike,
like for like swimming. I mean, dude, look at an Olympic swimmer. That's high evolution right there. That is perfected technique. You know, developed over the past 100 years, let's say.
I would say the past 500 years, but
Or-
Mike, you had a question. I see you had a.
Yeah, having said that, though, one thing I remember, so Vancouver Island, it's supposedly a huge Bigfoot hotspot. It's an island off the coast of British Columbia, and people are saying, well, how do Bigfoot get there? Oh, did they swim? Did they cross, when there was like a frozen ice sheet or something like that? And there was actually video footage in that little stretch of water between the Canadian mainland and Vancouver Island. People have actually captured, I don't know if it was video or audio footage, but there are images of bears swimming in that water. And, they're like, they do like the freaking Tyrannosaurus rexing with their arms. So,
Hey, bud, you called on the show?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, hang on a second. I just got to tap you in. Hang on a second.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
my
a
favorite is
quadruped.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so Mike, go ahead and finish your story. What's your name, sweetheart?
It's Cindy.
Okay, Cindy, hang on a second. Mike, go ahead and finish your story. And then
yeah, that's my thing. Like, if something like a bear would stand, stand on 2 feet, this kid,
Hi, Cindy.
Okay.
Feedback.
I know. Cindy, can you hear us? Hello, Cindy.
Oh,
Cindy?
the loser?
Yes.
All right. So what's your question?
Oh, I really didn't have a question, but I really was making a pity call.
Thank you.
What is
I really didn't have a question. I just wanted to call in and tell you all hi. I love your show.
Oh, thank you.
very nice of you.
Appreciate
so
that.
you
Thank
think we have no friends that we needed you to call in? You thought right.
Get us some stickers, Brendon.
Oh man, that.
Well, thank you, Cindy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Everyone be like Cindy. Call in.
I gotta get this fucking thing down, dude. This whole phone call thing.
Yeah, questions and comments. It's all good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's always good. It's always nice to have people call in. If you can hear us, it's 845-423-0323. And if you got a drunk guy answer the phone, you got the right studio. So
Yeah, maybe you should like put the banner back.
I did put the banner up, and people were complaining about the banner was getting in the way of
really?
Charlie's beautiful face.
It's not disrupting Charlie. What? I don't get. I don't know.
Here's one angle I actually would like to get your guys' opinion on.
Let's go.
One of my biggest, if I ever play the role of the proponent, backing the possible existence of this thing, one of the biggest talking points I like to bring up is, Bigfoot is predominantly a phenomena that really originated, really coined itself Northwest. But you look not just in all different parts of North America, like the Deep South, Northeast America, Northeast United States, but all over the world, people for hundreds, some even thousands of years, people hundreds, thousands of years,
right,
have stories and encounters, depictions, anecdotes of different creatures whose descriptions all closely or pretty much identically match what today we would perceive as a Sasquatch.
And that's a great question, because every time Pat and Charlie and Mike, every time I'm the biggest fan of being an optimist. I want the thing to be. I'm a skeptical optimist. but you can't displace like the hundreds and hundreds of years of stories, right?
Yeah. And the most intriguing thing too is just take North America, for example. There are over I forget the exact number, but there's like 200 and something odd individual instances from primitive Native American tribes that have existed throughout all different points in history. A lot of them had zero contact, no contact with each other whatsoever. Over 200 unique depictions of a creature whose description and whose mannerisms match what we today would probably label as a Sasquatch. Like, how do you like, if you're a skeptic, how do you explain that?
Pat, that's a good question for you.
So yeah, all right. So first of all, I'll address the world thing. So Sasquatch around the world, I care that much about.
A butthole's amount.
A butthole's amount.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because
I'll drink to that. Fuck it. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, because I don't care if there were stories from other parts of the world hundreds of years ago. First of all, that's irrelevant to me. The nature of none of those people are alive anymore. And second, I can't go to those places. I just can't. I can't vet that information. So if somebody in China.
All right, so Pat, what you're saying?
Sasquatch tomorrow. I can't. There's no way for me to vet that. I mean, it's just I just don't care.
No, but you have to take. You live in Georgia, right? You live in Atlanta. There's
I don't live in Atlanta. No.
Here goes the booze. The booze talking.
No, I don't live in Atlanta.
But you live in the South, so you have a lot of the wild man accounts, right? You hear more of the wild man accounts that we would get.
Sasquatch. They're Bigfoot up here, man. They're called boogers.
Wood boogers. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the slang in the South are boogers, and guess what? They're 8 foot tall monkey man looking things, hairy, naked, So Bigfoot, yeah. It's just
right, but so when you have my I'll give you my opinion real quick about the North versus South, and it's not the Civil War. I'm just saying that I think the apes that are the swamp apes, right? They call the swamp apes in Florida are much smaller for a reason.
Skunk apes,
swamp apes, skunk apes, apple here, apple there. But I think because they're smaller and it's hotter down there, and the temperate weather is hotter. I think that's why they're not as tall as maybe the 8 or 9 foot in the Pacific Northwest and maybe the Adirondacks. Does that give any credence to you? Or do you believe in that?
No, I mean, sure, that could be a thing, and I've heard that theorized, on many levels. My only point is this: is when it comes to older stories and old stories and Native American stories. Native Americans have stories about purple dragons taking kids. I don't care about anything that happened that is a story from hundreds of years ago. That
the antidote you're talking about, you're not. So for what is this called? The verbal record, right?
Yeah.
Mike?
So traditions, stories. Native Americans say this. Like, I don't care. Like, that has no relevance to today.
If it hasn't been in 1996, I don't fucking give a shit. So, Mike, what's the question with this? Do you know this guy? What's up with this?
Yeah, it's
JMR. We went to my research area a couple of months ago. That never. I don't recognize that. I don't recognize that name. Mike and Charlie. When we went to my research area.
Is that
the one? Is that the one from PA? When we were with Gwendolyn, no?
I'm not sure.
That's when we left the voice recorder. We went to the Gwen's town hall, and then we went to the spot afterwards. We hiked down to PA.
Hey, Pat.
That was when I got those weird ass footfalls. That
Wow, that's awesome. That's Brendon. We're gonna be right by that area next weekend or 2
All
weekends.
right, so they were just chiming in. Listen, if anybody's got any more questions, we'd like to answer them. Other than that, I think we're out of time, right, folks?
I mean, I'm still down to
Yeah, I'm good.
We
I'm
can
good
talk.
for
I mean,
another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He's got a new job. He's going to get up at 4, right?
So
No,
anyway,
not four tomorrow. No.
All right, so Mike, what do you got going on there? Now you get a new haircut.
Just so keep touching on what like we were talking about, Pat. Like I understand that I understand you don't really like to pay much mind to those sources from 400 years ago. But with that said, though, just a shot in the dark, how do you still account for all these stories having all these like how do you account for all the overlap?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just doesn't move the ball down the field. It does nothing to move the ball down the field. Like if you're trying to convince me that Sasquatch phenomena exists, you don't have to. I already know the Sasquatch phenomena exists.
What Mike's saying is it didn't come out of thin air. It had to be there from somewhere, right?
Yeah, I know. And
so
that's fine.
if you're denying the past, then you're not really researching it. You're just jumping on the bandwagon. And Pat, I don't think you're jumping on the bandwagon. Does that make sense to you?
He's looking for something concrete, and like you really can't get anything concrete.
What have you done? What have you done for me now lately, or something like that?
And I don't care. Look, I don't care if you see a Sasquatch tomorrow, Mike, and you tell me all about it,
Mike.
Like if you see one tomorrow and you tell me all about it, and I go, hey, that's crazy, dude. That's cool. I believe you 100%. That's an anecdotal account that just happened tomorrow. It doesn't move the ball down the field. We have a show called Sasquatch Chronicles that has people on all the time talking about their anecdote. It does nothing to move the ball down the field.
Well,
I'm here.
Moving the ball down the field. Let's call Gwen. Gwen, you there? I'm going to call you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Let's get Miss Purcell on the phone.
No, I feel you.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to From Behind Tall Trees. Have you heard of us?
I certainly have.
Excellent. So Gwen, Sean, Pat had a very good question. Does the old school antidotes, over the 1800s, is that non-relevant?
Oh, I don't know. As far as what? I'm missing the context, I think.
All right, so Pat, tell her the question.
Well, I mean, what? Okay, so a story from 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, or some passed down Native American, kind of like general acceptance
oral traditions.
Sasquatch. Ooh. What does that? I mean, does that move the ball down the field towards evidence that they're real or not? Like, I mean, what does that do? What's the significance?
Well, I mean, if we're talking like Native American folklore and their stories that they've passed down from generations to generations, I think to some extent there has to be truth in all of that. To some extent,
right? So
in every lie, there's a truth at some point. So, like, you kind of have to look at. It may not all be relevant, but
Yeah, but Bigfoot hasn't jumped out of the ethos, right? Bigfoot hasn't just popped. There he is. But Pat, you're willing to say that, right? You know what? You're not interested in the oral traditions of the old country, right? Whether it be the Amish or the fucking Indians.
I mean, it's not the oral traditions themselves. It's just the overlap. It's just the overlap in character, even characteristics and details. Like I struggle to chalk it. I struggle to chalk it up to coincidence.
I agree with you, Mikey. It has its place. Mm-hmm. It's just not that important. No, I'm serious. I'm not being flippant. It has its place. It's something to note. So I think it's noteworthy. But at the end of the day, like I'm like I'm 10,000 miles above
Sure.
that. I'm like I want to move the ball down the field. So yeah, it's noteworthy, but it's not.
Well,
It's not going to do anything for. It's not going to move the ball down the field.
Hey, Mike, you all right there?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm on my phone right now.
I see that. Yeah.
Corresponding evidence with those stories, like say you had a 200-year-old footprint or cast, which they probably didn't cast back then, but I'm sure to Pat's point it would add a little more validity. But a lot of these researchers now are saying, even you, Brendon, if there's not definite proof or evidence, it's just a story.
Yeah, but where's your cutoff point, Pat? Is it 1958? Or where is it where the Bigfoot stories become real for you?
Yeah, I mean the anecdotal accounts apply to people who are alive. Yeah, that's my
it's a bit ridiculous, but okay.
It's not ridiculous.
It's completely ridiculous
because you could talk to those people, you could vet them. There's nothing
but
ridiculous.
Their evidence and their theories are well documented in writing and or video. They're just because they're dead, that doesn't matter anymore.
Well, I think what makes the older anecdotes,
it didn't matter to them, or,
Oh, you backed yourself into a corner, Pat. You're gonna have to fight out now.
Oh,
ahead,
okay. I'll fight out.
The older anecdote significant is people. A lot of the descriptions of what these people supposedly encountered or saw or whatever, fit what we would today consider a modern day. Today what we consider a Sasquatch. This stuff was happening long before the term Bigfoot or Sasquatch was even coined.
Right.
Sure. But what does that matter now? What does that do? I mean,
that means everything, dude.
Okay, but let me ask this question so that we're kind of all on the same page.
Gwen, can you hear Pat good enough?
What
Absolutely.
do you want?
Okay.
So what's the motivation? Do you want discovery and knowledge of the species?
Oh yeah, 100% for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that, and again, I know that won't come about from anecdotal evidence or instances that happened like 100-something odd years ago.
Anecdote will never discover the species, and no more than it already has. We're already there. So with anecdote, we're there. We know the phenomena exists.
Yeah.
But
we don't know what it is.
But scientifically, that means shit, dude. That means nothing.
Wait,
wouldn't
what
it
do
be
you
able
mean?
to maybe help with get a figure on the population in the country if they're all over the place, and you know what I mean?
Well,
some people say there's
yeah,
2,500. Some people say there's 10.
World.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. In today's world, right, Charlie? Is that what you mean?
Saying, but having all all the history, saying they were in Maine to Canada to California, just to get all these different accounts, having the population being so widespread, so it's not just in.
I think it's fair enough to say let's just go way back when to DeSoto, 500 years ago. The North American population was populated by they weren't modern at that time, even modern world civilization. They were very extremely primitive. So, like, Sasquatch would have had the run of the land, man, right? It's opposed to today, where we have airports and 5 million, populated cities and all these things. So, Sasquatch has been like pushed away to some degree. Therefore, it's a different time from 500 years ago when they do whatever they want. Now they can't. Does that make sense?
They still do.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
What?
Okay.
What do you mean?
So 500 years ago, right? So
yeah.
The United States was founded in 1776, as far as we know. So you're saying that the wild man or the Bigfoot now can do more things yes, of course, the America is less populated than they are now.
They've been pushed away. Bigfoot.
Yeah, but so have the
whatever they
Native
wanted
Americans,
to
and
back
so have
then.
the but so have the Native Americans. So
no, look at the grizzly bear, for example. Back in the day, their territory.
They eradicated primate the alpha predators for westward expansion of the United States of men and women and child. That's why the wolves and the great grizzly bears were killed, so they could move folks west.
Yeah, grizzly bears. Their territory used to go all the way from the Pacific Northwest all the way to fucking Ohio, I think.
Gwen, aren't you so glad you chimed into the show?
Always.
I know. As soon as I saw you, I'm like, gotta get her. She's on. So, So that's Pat. You're making a lot of sense there, but I think a lot of. So let's ask this question then. Let's go a little bit deeper and say, a lot of people think that maybe in 1980, when Mount Helens erupted, there was a lot of Bigfoot killed in that section of Oregon and Western Washington. Do you believe in that? And do you think the government was in charge of that?
No, there's zero evidence to support any kind of narratives that have come out about, Bigfoot
conspiracy theory.
Yeah, Bigfoot bodies found in the mountains. Like, a friend of mine was there when it happened. He was in the National Guard, and he was there, boots on the ground. He was like, none of that shit happened. we were all scared to fucking death, like standing, like getting
that
ready
was like
to help
1980,
civilians.
dude.
And
that was 1980, though.
Yeah.
How old are you?
He's older than me.
Oh, you don't look older than that.
It's Jay Birch. I mean,
so do you buy into? But the more important thing is, Mike, and Mike, this is a good question you should ask: is do you buy into conspiracy theories like that?
No,
because there's a lot of smart people doing the research there. If you watch that Sasquatch, whatever that documentary was, it's very well done. But they ran out of steam right when that eruption happened.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've heard that story. I've heard that story before.
Right.
I haven't seen that. I know of the documentary that you're talking about. I haven't gotten a chance to watch that. But it goes to what Pat's what Pat was saying before. It's anecdotal, and that's not really gonna.
There's just no evidence.
Right.
Hey, let's talk about Kandahar giants. Like there's zero
easy,
evidence
MK Davis.
Right? So I'm sorry, we have fucking A10 warthogs. I mean, we have military guys that can take down anything in this world. So what? Some Kandahar giant killed a bunch of military guys in Afghanistan where there are no freaking trees. Really?
Actually, Pat, I was there. I saw it.
You saw it yourself. Okay. All right. Well,
it always starts like that, though, doesn't it? Actually, I saw it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I mean, Kandahar giants. Let's talk about Dyatlov Pass. Let's talk about.
Mike's a big fan of Dyatlov Pass, right?
Yeah.
Let's back up. Let's back it up a step. Mike, your Dyatlov Pass theory.
No, I don't think it was like a Sasquatch or anything like that. I think it was. I'm. Me and Pat are on the same page. I think it was just probably infrasound or cata something.
Wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those. I think that's probably what that.
That's what it was. It was pretty much at this point virtually 100% proven to be catabatic wind, only because the exact same thing happened in Sweden. And there was one survivor. And the survivor was able to say what happened. And it was the exact same scenario that played out. And catabatic wind. So yeah, not Sasquatch related, but hey, look, we have this thing called
the internet.
Bigfoot sauce.
Oh,
I got some Bigfoot sauce.
I thought it was
Let
called
me
vodka.
smother.
I thought it was called vodka.
Looks like a Pringles can.
Yeah, there was a Pringles can, but
Oh,
that was my only prop available. Sorry.
Wait, so
we're gonna
is the
smother
sauce-
it in Bigfoot sauce. You know,
Is the sauce in the Pringles can, or
Mhm.
is there no
Yes,
sauce?
I put some Bigfoot sauce in that Pringles can.
I see.
So
And-
Gwen,
And
While
we're
we
not
have-
going to talk about
while
how
we have you on the
I
phone-
got that Bigfoot sauce.
let's talk about what we going on next week. You're going to be on the show next week with some friends of yours, correct? The
Who,
Squatch
what?
Watchers or She Squatchers?
Who, you?
The sea squatchers, yes.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
you want to intro that? You want to talk about it, or you just want to let me just roll the pre-roll and just go? Okay.
I'm not. The girls are. They're actually going to be traveling, so they're going to have a sit down chat with me in the middle of their travels. I'm not even sure where they're going, but they're going somewhere for a conference somewhere.
They're like a punk rock band, dude. They're just wandering
they
around, and then you
Yeah, I
and
know.
Charlie.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I know Jen. Like, I'm friends with Jen.
And then you and Charlie are tomorrow, right? You got something going on tomorrow we could push?
Yep, we are guests on Eleanor Wagner's show tomorrow night.
I want to hear what everything Charlie has to say.
I'm sure you do.
What time? What channel? Tell the folks.
It is on her show called oh shit, what's the name of the show?
That sounds
Starts
about
at
right.
7. Creepers.
Creeper. So I'm looking it up right now. Hold on.
Mhm.
It is.
Look that up, Charlie.
I'm looking it up right now. It's 7:00, and it's the creep.
Good Lord, dude, fucking can't wait.
CBC.
So, Mike, the show's gone completely off the track, right?
Creep and Real. That's it. With Eleanor
We are
Wagner.
going like 4
Creep
different
and Real.
directions at once right now.
Yes, exactly. So, anyway, creeping real, great. So, Mike, let's get back to what's going on. What you're up there? You're doing some research.
So, I think I'm gonna be by myself at the Airbnb at the house tomorrow night. I don't think my friends are coming till like late Thursday night or Friday. So I might check some areas around. I brought I got my equipment with me. So, I actually I'm Whitehall's on the way. So maybe I might stop there. Cruise around for a little bit. But no, this is for the most part just a hiking trip. Get drunk and stoned around the fire, that kind of thing.
All right. I'm going to say, Gwen, you there? Sweetheart. Gwen. Okay, I'm going to hang up on her.
She's under the table, Charlie.
So anyway, I think anything else you want to cover, Mike?
Okay, so here's another thing. I just want to
Okay.
I just want to harp on Pat for this one more time with these anecdotes. So there was a story, and I bring this up all the fucking time. 2019, this kid Casey Hathaway went missing in North Carolina. He was missing for about, I think, either overnight or like 2 or 3 days. And at night, it was, temperatures got below freezing. There was a lot of rain, stuff like that. When they found this kid, he didn't appear, and this kid's 3 years old. He didn't appear exposed to the elements. And when, rescuers found him, they found him basically just on this mound of earth that was jutting out of swampy ass water.
It was a knoll. It was
It was pretty much surrounded. It was basically surrounded on all 4 sides. And these rescuers had to go through waist deep water on a grown ass man to get to this kid. So when they asked him, what happened? How did you how'd you get through it? This kid said he hung out with a bear for 3 nights, that a bear took care of him, which
Pat's heard this one, right?
Yeah, was that
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah.
And
right. So his just so it turned out to be, right? You guys know this or do not? Turned out to be his neighbor who was a special needs person had the nickname Bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
So you
disappointing.
guys didn't even know that.
You
Didn't
got,
even know that.
Yeah.
you have a periodical that'll back that up. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Brent knows more about that than I do, and maybe even there we go. Nikki's saying it in chat. Nope, they already said Bear was the neighbor.
Nice.
So
Wow.
mystery
What chat do you
solved.
have?
You see how this works? We can solve mysteries.
He's like what's his name? Fucking in Church of.
Yeah, and he's
there it is right there. Brent Ken.
He's a special needs guy.
Mhm.
And so that's already been figured out. But in the Bigfoot world, including here, evidently, like it's still the narrative. How did this happen? Bear. He said bear, bear. Yeah. That got figured out, I don't know, a year ago.
It's nice to see those stories figured out, though. You know, right?
Yeah, it is. But
because Politis paints a picture, very different picture, and I think Mike's talking about that narrative.
Yeah, because I found like about, in addition to the Casey Hathaway story, I found about 6 or 7 other ones over the years in different parts of the country that pretty much the same thing happened. You know, little kid, 2 to 5 years old, goes missing for a couple of days. You know, horrible conditions at night. They're found pretty much unscathed, yeah, in these just impossible to reach areas. They claim that, you know, a big bear took care of them. Some instances, you know, people found like bear footprints, you know, like paralleling kids.
So Pat, you're saying there's a big guy named Bear walking around saving kids, like Superman. He's just like not going under the radar.
Know. Like all I know is that that's pretty much how that story turned out. And I mean, I'm not expert on the details of it. I just know that's what that
is one example of what happened. And it's interesting because like Mike says, there's a lot of stories. Like what's the other one where the kid was in the cave and then he saw like the grandmother wasn't the grandmother, and then he was forced to shit on a piece of paper, right? And then remember that one? That was a
I would remember that one if I heard that one.
The kid was he was found the next day in unscathed, and he was somewhere, and he was in a cave. The grandmother looked like a grandmother, but she was a robot. And I know I'm drunk, but I'm not that drunk. So this is a true story.
You're a little drunk, dude.
but he said that the grandmother forced him to try to fecal or to poop on a piece of paper for DNA, and he said no. And so that's, I mean, the kid can't, I don't know how the kid could ever make up that story. And I know I'm not crazy. I've read that somewhere. So
yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, things happen. People go missing in the woods
all the time.
And little kids, thank God, when they go missing in the woods, some of them get found. And there's a story there, and all it takes, and Dyatlov Pass, Pete.
Well, that's a whole different story, though.
I know. No. Here's my point. Dyatlov Pass is the perfect example of you just turn 2 screws and you make it a different story altogether. Yeah. You know. Camera, it was the last picture taken on the camera. No, it wasn't. It was frame 18, not 24. Like, you again, to the Bigfoot sauce. All you have to do is smother a story in Bigfoot sauce. 100,000 views later, you're monetized. And that's what happens with a lot of this stuff. That's why, look, Bigfoot, the phenomena, right? The 8-foot tall thing, that monkey man, kind of weird looking, no clothes. That thing does not live online. It lives out there. It's out there. It's not here. It's out there. So go get it.
That's a very, very good statement. Right
Yeah, go get it. Go find it. Go look at it. Go experience it. Go thrill seek your ass off. Whatever.
Bucket sauce.
Yeah.
there.
And film it if you can. Film it, but it ain't here. It's not online.
Wait a minute. What's that? Oh, it's a dog.
It
was
does
Dog Man
not.
for a second.
Yeah.
It's a dog man. It's dog man.
I'm not Dog Man. I'm Petey. My name's Petey. Nice to meet you.
Hello,
Nice to meet
Petey.
you. What, Petey? Stop talking.
Well, on that note, let's kick it out, dude. Let's get out of here and let's call it what it is, right, folks?
Sure.
Yeah. Or do you want to hang out? I can hang out.
I can hang out. We have a good question.
He's got what?
Hey,
Is there wait, there's a question right here.
No. Hold on. I saw a really good question.
That was 4 hours ago.
Hold on.
That was me going, what time you showing up for the show?
Hey.
That was funny.
You sound like a manager. Like, look,
I am a manager.
I'm gonna start a band. You're gonna manage my band.
Nice.
Because you're a competent manager. Evidently you're a competent band manager. I heard you manage some band out of New Jersey one time. They did a couple of gigs.
All right, kids. We're all good? Mike?
No. There, that one. Sasquatch Squatch Encounters Podcast. What are you guys' thoughts on government authorities?
Where's the timestamp on it? Give me a timestamp.
8:59.
So 4 minutes ago.
Was it? Oh, there it is. Oh,
you're good at math, dude.
Nothing gets past him. 8:59, 8:57, 58, 59.
Oh, you just scroll up in chat. I mean, there's not.
I'm looking for it, dude.
There.
I guess that was a good.
There you go. Okay, I'm interested. Charlie, what do you think?
I think it's for economic purposes. I think they might hide some evidence just so you're not shutting down the logging industry or the oil industry. So, because if you find, if they have evidence and there's not that many of them, are they going to make them endangered species? You know what I mean? So I think they might, if they do exist, the government probably has their finger in it somehow, but it's all, based on monetary.
Yeah, but did they stop the fucking logging industry for spotted owl for like fucking 2 years? It cost the logging industry like fucking $500 million.
Like
for a spotted fucking
one
owl?
area. In one area.
Right.
Yeah.
So this would cease the lumber industry to exist in some of the higher playing states. Right?
No, it wouldn't. We're human beings. We need lumber. That's not gonna. There ain't nothing in this fucking world that will ever kill
Mike, what do you think?
the
What's
lumber
your
industry,
opinion on that?
dude. You're out of your mind. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I go back and forth.
Yeah,
part of me thinks it's just wishful thinking. Another part of me thinks, well, if they actually are covering it up for whatever reason, I think Charlie probably was like pretty spot on about the possible reasons why, but I go back and forth. I don't think they've like captured and tagged, they've captured and tagged them or anything like that.
So you're not all in on that conspiracy.
No. But like on the flip side though, you see all the stuff that's coming out with like UFOs and everything like that. I definitely leave the door open for it. But like if you held a gun to my head and asked me to choose yes or no, I'd probably say no.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that UFO thing they came with the Senate came 4 days ago? It was it's like these are definitely not ours, they said. And that's a big deal, dude. It's not the Air Force. training somebody.
They didn't say that.
He did. The senator said, if these are somebody's, they're not ours.
The senator, who would not know, the people on the other end, they did admit there were some things in those videos that could not be explained. I thought that was very significant statement from the DOJ, right? So that was a pretty significant statement. It was interesting, but it also got like it also got like kind of comedic,
swept under the radar, dude. It was swept. Nobody paid attention.
Weird.
Mike, did you watch
weird.
I didn't.
There was some significance to it, but it got a little weird too. God damn dogs.
I thought that was Mike's dog, dude.
Mike's in a hotel. Unless you brought him with you.
Where's your dogs at?
Yeah, Mike's dogs are annoying. Jeez.
What's this question? The Angels are watching go for Mr. Fuller. Who's this Gary Johnson? Anybody know who he is?
He ran for president in 2016.
Yes, I know who Gary. I know who Gary is. Thanks for showing up tonight, Gary. I appreciate you, bro. As always. He has his own independent thoughts.
Yes, we can see that through the thing here. We got you guys. It won't with these toys of hell goes to hell. Not going to take them. Anyway, so I'm done for the day. Anybody else have anything else to say? We're picking up traffic here, so we got a lot of viewers. Unfortunately, I'm wiped out.
I could go. I could go for 3 more hours.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. Charlie, you got anything to say?
No, just come watch Gwen and I tomorrow night, and then also we get Sean's show tomorrow night too, right? So
no, Sean's canceled.
They did. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, the lovely Katie Burr is a no-show
again.
Yes, nice. Yes.
Ooh. All right. Well,
like,
yeah,
good,
so,
Mike.
Mike, what you got going on?
I'm all set. Just I promise you all watching or listening or whatever the fuck you're doing. Next time we do this, it'll be a lot more smoother.
Yeah, but this was open mic, open drinking, so fuck it.
Yeah.
True. I guess
it's fun show. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like pertaining to my internet issues,
Well, now your hair looks great though. You came back with your hair great.
My hair looks fabulous.
It does. Yeah. Gee, your hair looks fabulous. And Pat Turner, whose hair looks always fabulous, can be found on Squatch Talk 365 days of the year.
Every day. We do a daily show. Oh, wait.
All Bigfoot all the fucking time. When are you coming back? When are you coming over to the CARC, dude?
Well, I mean, I'm here now. Right?
I know, but okay. So on that note, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I think next week we have the squatch, the she squatchers. Say that after a long night of drinking. Right?
She squatchers.
On the next From Behind Tall Trees, Ladies' Night with Gwen and Carrie with special guests, the She Squatchers. Wednesday, June 1st, 7 p.m. only on CARC Universal. Be there. Good night, folks. We'll see you next time.
Thanks
Stay safe, stay gay, and keep on squatching.
You've been watching From Behind Tall Trees, a Catskill Appalachian Research Collective production. For more information on this program and others like it, remember to like, share, and subscribe to CARC Universal today. To join the conversation on our Facebook group, become a member of the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective Facebook group. CARC.